Okay, so I recently fell into the rabbit hole of Islamic YouTube. So I thought, why not make a small guide to the place? Let's begin. What is Islamic YouTube? Islamic YouTube is that part of the internet where the content is made in accordance with the Quran and the Hadith. In other words, halal content, i.e. content without music, show of skin, abusive language, and anything that is considered un-Islamic. Islamic YouTube has three main aims, and the first of those aims is to reignite the love for Islam among young Muslims, especially those who are living in Western countries. Today, it is very common to see Muslims drinking, eating pork, going out dancing, and freely interacting with the opposite gender. Now, many of you watching might not find anything wrong with this. After all, we have all grown up watching Suleiman and Shah Rukh do all of these things. But actually, all of these things are considered forbidden in Islam, i.e. haram. One of the main reasons given as to why today Muslims are diverting from Islamic practices and indulging in haram is because of social media. Okay, let's be real here. Social media is anything but halal. Just open any app and you'll find music and a girl dancing to it.
Oh Allah the Almighty.
Now, there's nothing wrong with music and dancing, but the point is, it is becoming very difficult for Muslims to avoid haram, especially when more and more interactions are happening online. Today, it is much more easier for Muslims to give into haram than to resist it. Therefore, the aim of Islamic YouTube is to create a safe space for Muslims where they can enjoy content without compromising on their Islamic values. The second aim of Islamic YouTube is to push Islamic narrative globally by praising those who support the religion and troll and criticize those people who say anything bad about Islam. This was clearly visible during the recent Israel-Palestine conflict, where anyone who supported Palestine was showered with praise.
No, he didn't. Oi, Philip. Big Phil. My respect for you has shot up, Big Phil. God damn.
And anyone who decided to support Israel or remain neutral was said horrible things.
You coward! You have millions of views you get on Facebook, YouTube. You're damn silent. Speak about you're supposed to be Palestinian. Yeah? Shame on you. Shame on you. No?
The third aim of Islamic YouTube is to give Dawah. Dawah is basically preaching Islam to non-Muslims with the aim to convert them. Muslims get an invisible reward for giving Dawah, which they can redeem when they go to heaven. This Dawah thing is kinda like in-game currency in video games. The more Dawah you give to people, the more reward you get. And in case someone converts because of your Dawah, your reward will increase in heaven. Therefore, there is a constant competition among Islamic YouTubers to give Dawah to as many people as possible, especially famous people.
Dawah don't stop. Another shahada, alhamdulillah, this is Brother Alex. Brother Alex, do you bear witness and believe that there's nothing worthy of worship except Allah? And do you believe the Prophet Muhammad is the servant, slave, and messenger of Allah? Congratulate him, celebrate him.
So naturally, the next big question is, who are Islamic YouTubers? Islamic YouTubers can be divided into 5 categories: the scholars, new Muslims, vloggers, propaganda channels, and TikTokers. Let's start with the scholars. Quran was revealed in early 600 in Saudi Arabia to Prophet Muhammad, and Muslims rely on the life of Prophet Muhammad as a guide to an Islamic way of life, i.e. Hadith. Since then, Islam has spread across the world, and people from many different cultures practice it. Therefore, there was a demand for Islamic scholars who would clear doubts of people and tell them if their local customs were in accordance with the Quran and the Hadith. Islamic scholars have had great influence wherever Islam is practiced. Today, these scholars are on YouTube, clearing doubts of the modern man.
There is a very popular video game known as PUBG. Is it haram or shirk to play this kind of game?
Among these scholars, the greatest of all time, the GOAT, is Zakir Naik. He is famous for mugging up scriptures of almost every major religion.
The Quran says in Surah Ankabut, chapter number 29, verse number 69.
Bible says in Genesis chapter number 1, verse number 16 to 19.
Bhagavad Purana mein, Khand 12, Adhyay 2.
And today he lives in Malaysia as a fugitive from the Indian government. The next most popular Islamic scholar on YouTube is Mufti Menk, and he talks a lot about issues young Muslims are facing today. And in my opinion, he is the only one who understands social media and the social media generation. Bilal Phillips, Asim Al-Hakim, Omar, Suleiman, Nouman Ali Khan are other Islamic scholars popular on YouTube who make videos in English. And there are many other Islamic scholars who make videos in regional languages as well. But to be honest, their videos are very boring. And boring is the main reason that gave rise to a new generation of Dawah men, the new Muslims. The purpose of new Muslims is to make Islam cool. Muhammad Hijab, Ali Dawah, Smile to Jannah, Wayoflifesq are some of the most popular Islamic YouTubers today. But none of these YouTubers match the level of who I think is the best Islamic YouTuber in the world, Daud Savage. If you see the content of some of the most popular new Muslims, you will find that they are not very honest to their audiences. For example, Muhammad Hijab often tries to confuse people with his philosophical mumbo-jumbo that no one understands. And he justifies his arguments by doing this.
You really should be ashamed of yourself, but you should be humiliated. You should be humiliated. You're a dejected individual, a sick person, a mental and ideological slave.
Smile to Jannah often misrepresents and omits facts to push his narrative. And Ali Dawah is, well, Ali Dawah.
And this whole notion is nothing but devil's deception. It is nothing but devil's deception.
But Daud Savage is different. He makes skits based on the Quran and the Hadith, in which he mostly plays as his father and himself, and his every video has a good lesson in it. Daud's skits are very peaceful, and you feel good after watching them, even if you don't know much about Islam. And therefore, in my opinion, Daud is the best Islamic YouTuber in the world. And then we have the vloggers, and the story arc of all Islamic YouTubers is the same. A small or a mid-tier vlogger, usually white or from a developed country, travels to an Islamic country such as Saudi Arabia or Pakistan, or starts showing some interest in Islam. That person immediately starts getting views and likes on their videos from Muslims around the world. Then they convert to Islam and again start traveling to Islamic countries, singing the praises of Allah. Now there's nothing wrong in praising Allah or converting to another religion, but the thing is, these vlogs get really boring and predictable after some time. Daud Kim, Palfrey, Ellie Quinn, Rosie Gabrielle are some of the popular convert vloggers. Side note, nowadays anyone who converts to Islam is called a revert and not a convert, because according to Muslims, everyone is actually born as a Muslim, but they lose their way because of their family and society. Now let's talk about the worst category on Islamic YouTube, the propaganda channels. You can spot these channels by a lack of human face and excessive use of stock footage. TheProphetspath, Muslim Convert Stories, MercifulServant and SenseIslam are some of the propaganda channels. All these channels do is say all the good things about Islam and criticize anyone who says anything bad towards the religion. Now almost all Islamic YouTubers do this as well, but because there isn't a face on these channels and their content is really repetitive, therefore these channels feel fake and unreliable. Now let's talk about the best category on Islamic YouTube, the TikTokers. Now I know it sounds really strange, but TikTokers, now ex-TikTokers because many of them stopped making videos on TikTok because of the treatment of Uyghurs by China in Xinjiang, make the best content on Islamic YouTube. Ninja Mommy and Mubina from Medina TV are my favorite. These two ladies have wonderful personalities and they can hold audience's attention without even showing their faces. And as someone who has recently started making YouTube videos, I know how hard it is to hold someone's attention. Therefore, I really appreciate the talent of these two ladies. Saleh family is also a very nice and hardworking couple, and they make good family videos. And these channels are also very understanding towards other people's faith and lifestyle compared to other YouTubers I mentioned in this video. Now all the names I mentioned in this video are just a tip of an iceberg of Islamic YouTube. There are many more creators creating Islamic content in different languages. And also there's a lot of drama going on between Islamic, Christian and atheist YouTubers as well. But that is for another video. Thank you ladies and gentlemen for coming out to my vlog. I'll see you soon.